Do you guys ever go out for a photo shoot and get back and think, wow, these pictures just really did not turn out at all? Well, yeah, me too. Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And today I wanted to take a look at a picture from my last photo shoot that I just really don't think turned out that well. And to do that, I'm going to show you guys a software that I haven't used on this channel yet, and that is Luminar 4. Now, Luminar 4 is an AI-based photo editing software, and so rather than you kind of going through and manually controlling individual things for saturation and exposure and so forth, you actually kind of tell it more the overall look that you want from your image, and it does the processing on the image. So rather than me saying I want the greens in my photo to be more saturated, I would just say foliage enhancer and pull that slider up, and it enhances the foliage, for example. So here's the picture that we are going to take a look at today, and this photo was taken under very, very harsh light. It was getting close to midday. It was the end of my photo shoot, which, as I mentioned in last week's video where I took these pictures, that photo shoot was kind of in the midday anyways, so the light was not that ideal. And as you can see, I kind of tried to go for a middle of the road exposure on it so that I did keep the sky fairly well there, but I have very dark shadows on this tree trunk here and so forth. So what I'm going to do is pull this up in Luminar 4, and if we just take a look at this here, I've got a tab on the right that kind of has some different adjustments that I can apply to this photo. So the first thing that I might do, for example, is open up this light tab here, and this looks pretty familiar to most of your photo editors, so I could pull up the exposure a bit, for example, to kind of help pull back some of those shadows. The same thing here, I could just go ahead and bring up the shadows specifically to try to even out my lighting a bit. But then where things get a little bit more interesting is below that we've got this AI Enhance tab. And so I can add just this enhancement to the photo. I also have a Sky Enhance, and if I pull that up, you'll see that it really starts to try to bring the sky back in the top of the picture here. And so this is what just those two sliders have done for us. We also have AI Structure, which seems like it kind of sharpens things up a little bit. So we could maybe give it a little bit of that. And then we have a Landscape Enhancer option. So this gives us things like this Foliage Enhancer, which kind of brings up your greens. Obviously, we don't want to go very far with this, but we could maybe add just a little bit of that. The green is already really green in this picture, but we could add just a little of that. In the details section, we have the option to adjust different sizes of details. Now, I think this is a really nice feature of Luminar 4, because usually when you're sharpening your picture, you can just broadly adjust the sharpness, or you can individually select parts of the photo that you'd like to sharpen. But this lets you say, okay, I want my small things to be sharper, or I want big things to be sharper, and the artificial intelligence will automatically apply sharpening to those particular parts of the image. Now, in the color section here, I could adjust my saturation and vibrance and just remove the color cast. This photo, I think, has kind of a green color cast to it. The overarching color in the photo is clearly green. There's tons of green leaves here, and it kind of made everything look a bit green. And so what I might do is just pull up this remove color cast option quite a bit. And if we take a look at before and after that, you can see that kind of helps to clean this up a little bit. I might turn it down just a little. And then maybe I'll also just saturate it a little more. Now if I hit this eyeball up at the top, you can see this is where we started and this is where we are now. And it's been maybe a couple of minutes. So very, very quick and easy to use this app to make kind of broad adjustments to your photos. And this is a really good app, I think, for rescuing a rough photo like this. If I think the photo came out fairly well, if I like the lighting of the photo, I don't tend to go to Luminar as much. I tend to go toward Affinity Photo or something where I make the edits a little bit more manually. Because at that point I'm focusing on really, really small adjustments to the photo. But if I really need to vastly fix a photo that's just gone really wrong in the lighting or something, Luminar 4 is a really good way to do that. So for this photo, I think I'm going to also try to apply a little bit of a vignette to it to focus your eye in, and that will just focus you on the tree a little bit more, because there's a lot of distracting leaves around the edge. So I can adjust kind of the amount and size of my vignette. I could also go ahead and fix the noise here. So we'll maybe add a little bit of denoising to it. If I zoom in, I think I'll see that there's a fair amount of noise. Now I could also go through and fix the noise in Affinity Photo, which is what I've actually, what I'm actually gonna do for the photo shoot video, because I do also have this fringe at the top, and there is not a defringe option in Luminar, so I will need to take that out in Affinity Photo and fix up the noise there probably as well, but that is an option here. There's also options for things like sky replacements, augmented sky, which will add objects into the sky. There's an option for adding sun rays here. So if I wanted to, I could place the sun in this image, and I could add some sun rays to it, which is kind of cool looking. If you're kind of going for that sort of an effect, you might want to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off, because I'm not really looking to add any elements to this image, but that is an option there as well. Now I'm going to adjust the contrast a bit though, because there's this advanced contrast option which lets me change the contrast in my highlights, midtones, or shadows. And so I think what I will do for this is just pull up each of these and kind of see the effect that they have. So if I were to adjust the highlights contrast, for example, I would get that. It's kind of if I change the midtone contrast, and here is if I change the shadow contrast. Now this photo has a lot of really dark shadows in it, and so I think pulling up the shadow contrast is going to be our best option. We can pull that up pretty high here, and I'm noticing that's making this area with the tree trunk start to look a lot better. It was looking really kind of black, and it's looking a little more brown-green right now, which obviously is the color that it should be. So here was our original photo from maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago, and here is what we've got as our final result. So very, very easy in Luminar 4 to rescue an image that has gone badly wrong. And so, when you're in a really tricky lighting situation, this is a tool that you might be able to pull out to kind of make that fix. It was a very difficult exposure to get, and so this was kind of the middle of the road, which is usually what you do want to do. So as far as getting the exposure out of the camera, that I think was the correct route to take. But in terms of when you actually get that onto your computer, it is going to need some work to kind of rescue those things. If you guys did like this video, definitely remember to hit that like button, as well as to subscribe to my channel. That'll really help me to grow. And as always, thank you guys for watching this. I appreciate your support so much, and I will see you guys in the next video.